Good afternoon. Hey, everybody. Welcome to an episode of the DTI Takeover show. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am your host, Miss Kayla. And you guys know I am here to spotlight another awesome entrepreneur. I have Dr. Patricia Jackson here, the author of From Rock Bottom to Rock Stars. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for
You're
asking.
no problem. So, Dr. Patricia, before we get into From Rock Bottom to Rock Stars, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Patricia Jackson. I am a certified licensed Christian counselor, therapist. I do slash therapist because some people call therapist and counselor.
Mhm.
I'm also a retired registered cardiac nurse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Uh, yeah, I retired almost 10 years ago. Um, and I'm a, a mother, grandmother, of course, of 11, mother of 5. Uh, uh, like I said, retired. I was a caretaker for my parents. They both passed away in
Sorry to hear that.
2021. I'm also a widow. I'm just telling you everything about me.
I'm
and but I'm just one that loves life, and right at this point in time in my life, just really want to live my better than best life, which I talk about in my book, in my chapter. And Let's see, I'm an associate pastor at Purpose International Church,
okay.
and crisis advanced certification in crisis therapy, and just really passionate about really helping people to really get to know themselves and to work through whatever problems they have. I just that's just that I'm just
I
me.
can I can tell because I'm listening to you. Everything that you do
Uh-huh.
involves helping people in some way, shape, fashion, or form. I mean, let's start with the heart itself, being a cardiovascular nurse. Like
Yes.
you started from the heart and then you deal with trauma and you so it's kind of just been your thing. So that's awesome. Um,
Right.
what inspired you really to become a coach or a therapist or a counselor, whichever title you want to take on.
Right.
Heard that.
Well, I've always been one that I realized over my life that people had an easy time talking to. Everybody will always, gravitate and talk to me about their problems and things like that. But I guess it stemmed too from me being a nurse, because
Mhm.
from a little girl, I always said I wanted to be a nurse. And when I graduated high school, of course, the college I'm a graduate of Tennessee State University, and
Okay.
so at that point in time, though, they didn't have a nursing program, so I was going to go into social work.
Mm.
Uh, and then, that's still an area, where you help
Yep.
people.
Hmm.
Because my parents at that time couldn't afford to send me to another college because I had a scholarship from there. And
Gotcha.
so from there, then I started a family early, so I had to drop out of school.
Mm.
And I ended up starting a family. That changed over a course of time. Came back home to Nashville because I lived in Miami, Florida at one time. Came
Okay.
back home to Nashville with me and my children, and at the age of almost 30, ended up working and then going back to school. Got my LPN first because my grandmother always knew that I said I wanted to be a nurse.
Hmm.
And when I moved back home, she called me one day and she said, St. Thomas, and it was St. Thomas at the time here in Nashville, one of our area hospitals, has a LPN program. And I said, oh, really? And so I started making some calls. And then from there, everything just went like boom, 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 like fell into place for me to get into school and to become a nurse. So from there, just being in nursing all the years, because I was a nurse for a total of about 33 years. And
Wow.
then even before I retired, I was sitting on the couch one day looking at a program, and I turned to my husband and I said, you know what? I think I want to be a counselor. And he said, okay, I can see you doing that. And then from there, things fell into place with that, found the right school to go to, started there, and then ended up getting my PhD in my early 60s, at the age of 60,
That's
61.
awesome. But that is amazing.
Yes,
That's
yes. So
amazing.
I just love it. I'm very passionate about it. I love, my daughter always tells me, Mom, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't sit and listen to people talk and tell. But I just love it. I love it how things come together,
Mhm.
the knowledge that I've gained, and then just really being able to hear what's going on with someone and letting them talk, and then it's like piecing a puzzle together, putting the
Okay.
pieces of a puzzle together. And then my reward comes in when I see someone become really emotionally and mentally healthy again, really able to reason and navigate through things that they ordinarily would have had a problem with or whatever. So,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You have truly been living a fulfilled life when I tell you. And that is amazing. That is a blessing. So how did we get to from rock bottom to rock stars?
oh, yeah, that's a whole nother story. It's like, okay. Now, it's been spoken over me for a while that I was going to write a book. Okay. And I've listened and I said, look, okay. And I've thought about it, and it was like, okay, but what am I going to write about? What's the title going to be or whatever? So it really it didn't transpire yet. So I am a member of an organization called Women Who Rock Nashville.
Okay.
I'm the mental health therapist for the board. Dr. Tanya Davis is the founder of this organization. And so she knew Angela, and they got together, and she put out some information about an anthology that they were looking for some women to be a part of. And at first, Kayla, at first I looked at it and I was like, oh, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. But I got a nudge. I
Mhm.
always say this because in my spirituality and and knowing how God has just guided me,
Yeah.
I got a nudge. It was like, okay, you need to do this. You really need to do this. So I made the decision. I said, okay, I made the decision to do this. And when I told Dr. Tanya, she was very excited. She's like, oh, yeah, 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 because she wasn't trying to coerce me or anything.
Right.
I made the decision, and then even when I made the decision, it took me a few weeks to even put something down on paper.
Mm.
So one day it was like, okay, you got to do this because we had a deadline.
Hmm.
This was like the end of the year, last 2023, and we were getting ready to go into 2024.
Hmm.
Granted, this book came out in March of 2024, and the
Okay.
deadline for us to turn our stories in was in February. So
Mm.
one day I sat and I wrote. I was up to like 1 or 2 o'clock, and I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And I was like, okay, oh, I'm done. So then I knew I had to put that on my tablet. so,
Right. Right.
so, and when I tell you, as you could tell today, I'm not very, very tech savvy. And so I can even tell you that as I put this on my tablet,
Hmm.
I had divine help with that too, because what I put on the tablet and what was on the paper just served as a guideline. What
Oh.
I put on the tablet turned out totally different than what I expected. And when I finally finished it, no shame in my game. I just broke down crying.
Mhm.
And when I sent it in to Angela, I just like, it was a relief, of course. But then,
Right.
just to know. And then my daughter was here, and my youngest daughter, she has written a book too. And I said, why am I feeling like this? She said, well, Mom, you've put yourself in a vulnerable position because I've shared some things about my life,
Mm.
in this chapter. And that's really how that came about. And then we turned it in, and the book came out in March, like the middle of March when we had our gala. And so it was really a whirlwind event. It just happened, just like a lot of things in my life have happened. So yeah, so that's how I got involved with that. Yes.
That's interesting. It's interesting because as someone who's, you can tell, very outspoken and very vocal, and like you said, you love communicating and talking to individuals and kind of hearing their stories and things like that come out, and here you are in a position to now where you have to put your stories on paper.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be, it must become a complete different experience versus if you were to sit here and tell me about your story.
Right. That's true. That's true.
So that's
So
that's
true.
that's
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. So, what can we expect from your particular chapter?
Well, you can expect just a, a lot of insight. You can expect, true honesty. I'll tell you what, I've gotten feedback from family and friends that have read my chapter,
Okay.
and they have been very impressed. They've been very touched. My granddaughter, I have a granddaughter that read it, and this is going to always bring me to tears. And she came over and she said, and she's 20, she just turned 26. And she said, Grandma Pat, she said, oh my gosh. She said, I would never have thought that you have been through some of the things that you've been through. She said, because you carry it with such poise and grace. She
Right.
said, and your attitude, you're not bitter, you're not, and so if that gives you an idea of maybe some of the things that you'll see that happened in the chapter, because I'm a domestic violence survivor
Wow.
from my first marriage, my children's father. And so you can expect the unexpected, because anybody that knows me, that read it. And I had another friend that lives in Atlanta that
Hmm.
bought the book when he and his friend were here, and he sent me a message, and he said, Pat, he said, I nobody would have ever known. He said,
Right.
I just read your chapter, and he said, and I'm so touched. He said, but I'm so proud of you. He said, you never know what somebody has been through. So
Right.
that can kind of give you an idea
Right.
of what you can expect from my chapter. Not going into a lot of deep detail,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's really from, my teenage years on up into where I am now,
Right.
and things that have happened that have gotten me to where I am now.
Right. What would you say would be the the push or the inspiration, um, or the help, for lack of a better word, just to get you to the point where you are in the space that you are now? What do you think helped it? Like, what helped you keep it together, Miss Pat? Some people lose their mind, don't come back from it. Like, what helped you, or who helped you?
You
To,
know, I've always had a really good support system, but first of all, I gotta say God.
yes, ma'am.
I said with hands down, without any, with
Yes,
no
ma'am.
hesitation. I know that because the strength that I have had to go through different arenas of my life where things were happening and stuff, I look back sometime and I don't know how I did it, because I know it wasn't me. I
Hmm.
know it wasn't me that did that, because I mean, at this point, first of all, I didn't really have to be here.
Right.
Something could have happened that my life would have been taken. And then just a lot of the things that I had to endure, it was like that's first and foremost, that I give all honor to God with that, and not using that as a cliche, because I'm not a cliche person, but I know that, you
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
just even, even once I came out of that relationship and going back to school, taking care of 4 children as a single mother before I ever remarried again, and everything that comes with that, and then I've always had a great support system. My parents, my family, I've always had a great support system. And even now, with my children being grown, with what I've been through, losing my parents and my husband, uh,
Yes.
my grown children, their support. I've always had a great support system, and I've always, I guess it was just my design and how I made, that I did not get bitter, and because all of us are different in how we
Right.
handle things, that I and then not patting myself on the back. That's the only thing that I can think of, that's
Right.
just not my design, to be bitter and angry. Although I've been through some angry times, and things like that, but I just chose not to let it get me down. I just
Mm-hmm.
chose to just keep moving, and basically I think sometime I was on autopilot and I just kept going,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But now I'm really, really much more aware of that,
Yeah.
because of now I'm in my latter years. And so it's like, okay, I look back on my life and I was like, wow, I even had to say wow myself.
Yes.
you know.
It's like
I
we
mean, and I know there's, yeah, exactly. And I know that there's others that have been through things, so I don't downplay that at all. There's others that have been through things However, each one of us has our own individual journey, but that's the thing that I can see. And then because of where I've come from and the help that I have gotten and where I am, and and I want to help others
Right.
to, to get better, to heal, to get their power back. I'm really passionate about helping women. Now I counsel men too, so that's, I don't discriminate, but but I know how hard it is for women, how we lose our power or give our power away.
Mhm.
And I'm just very passionate about helping people to learn how to live life, to just live,
Yeah.
to be able to enjoy life. There's so many things that we don't have any control over.
Right.
There are some things that we do have control over.
Mhm.
And, so I know where I've gotten and finding my voice and my freedom and everything. And I just want to help others to do the same thing.
That's awesome. That's
Hmm.
amazing. So, how can someone book a session with you?
Well, you can get in touch with me by email, my email is docjac14@gmail.com. Uh, you can my Facebook Messenger, if people want to send me messages on there, Patricia Streeter Jackson. And then on Instagram, I'm Dr. Pat Jackson. Uh, and From there, I guess on here, I don't know, we get phone numbers, so it's like,
Okay.
okay, okay. But I mean, if I don't mind, because if a person really wants to get in touch with me, they can leave me a message. If I see an unknown number, I might not answer it, but if
Right.
someone really wants to get in touch with me, that they can leave me a message. So it's 615-830-0519.
All right.
Those are the ways that you can that a person can get in touch with me.
That's
Mhm.
amazing. Well, thank you, Dr. Patricia Jackson. It has been truly an honor and a pleasure
Oh, the honor is all mine.
today. You've definitely been very inspirational.
Well,
And
thank you.
I really hope our listeners, like I really hope everyone and myself included, really take in the things that you shared, even just in this brief time. And
Well,
you've covered downfall, you've covered how to kind of get back up in a way, you've covered how to keep it moving, how to keep it pushing, even in situations where it doesn't seem to, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't see
right,
the brighter days. You don't see it. Like you just don't see it. And
right.
so you have kind of covered that really quick, whether you know it or not.
Well, hey, again, I always get that help,
Damn.
and I wanted to show you, this is the From Rock Bottom to Rock Stars. This is
Okay.
the anthology, and
How do we purchase the book?
uh, it's three ways you can purchase the book. One, you can contact me and I can mail it out to you personally. I give you my cash app that can send it to.
Okay.
Amazon has it, but you have to go under the title of the book and then type my name beside it. And then the website, lulu.com. They have the book in all of us that contributed to the book. They have it with all of our names on there. And what's so great about this book is that they individualized it. Miss Angela individualized the book as far as with our own names on the front of it. So those
Okay.
are those
Nice.
are the three ways that you can purchase the book. You can feel free to get in touch with me. I don't mind mailing them out, you know. And you can message me. I can send you my cash app on my PayPal or whatever, and I will mail it out to you as soon as possible. So those are the three ways that you can purchase.
All
Hmm.
right. Okay, y'all. We all heard it here first on Total Entertainment Radio. Once again, thank you, Dr. Patricia Jackson, for being a guest on our show today.
Thank you,
Guys,
Kayla.
no problem. You guys, please make sure you support and you follow her on all her social media platforms, and that you purchase this book. Continue to follow Total Entertainment Radio on Facebook at Total Entertainment Radio. Like follow us on Instagram at the Total ENT Experience and listen to the station. Go to www.totalentradio.com. Hit the TER radio button to listen to Total Entertainment Radio, or if you want to listen to our all Christian, all gospel radio station, you can hit the Total Praise Radio button and check out what we have going on there. Until next time, everybody, it's your girl, Miss Kayla, and we're signing out. Peace out.